Today we're going to be talking about Bullseye pistol. What is it? How do we do it? What does it entail? As its name would imply, Bullseye pistol is a sport in which you shoot at bullseyes with a pistol. Now the whole sport is structured around three distinct stages. You have your slow fire stage, your time fire stage, and your rapid fire stage. The timed and rapid fire stages are collectively known as sustained fire. Now all of the shooting done in Bullseye pistol is done one-handed. Traditionally, you're going to shoot your slow fire stage at 50 yards. You have 10 shots in 10 minutes, and you're going to be using a target known as a B6. Now, this is a repair center. The actual full-size B6 target is a little larger. This is just the center of the target. The next stage of fire is timed fire. Traditionally, both timed and rapid fire are shot at 25 yards on an NRA B8 target. Now, this again is a repair center. The full-size B8 is a little larger than this, and it has scoring rings that go all the way out to 5. Now, the time fire stage is shot 5 rounds at a time in a time limit of 20 seconds. And you do that twice for a total of 10 shots. So it's 5 shots in 20 seconds twice on an NRA B8 at 25 yards. The final stage of Bullseye pistol shooting is the rapid fire stage. Rapid fire is shot just like time fire in 2 strings of 5 shots. The only difference is instead of 20 seconds, it's 10 seconds. Now for all of these stages, there are reduced target sizes. For example, for the 50-yard reduction target to 25 yards, if your range only permits 25 yards, you'd use a target known as a B16. I'll have the complete list of them put up here somewhere. Now when it comes to different Bullseye matches, they're mainly differentiated on 2 different factors. One is equipment and one is course of fire. Let's focus just on course of fire right now. So what I mean by that is, essentially you take those 3 different stages and different matches will have different orientations of them, different amounts of those same stages. For example, today I shot a national match course, which you might be seeing in the B-roll footage right here and what I'm going to show you at the end of this video. And the national match course consists of 1 slow fire stage, 1 time fire stage, and 1 rapid fire stage for 30 shots total and a total score of 300. Another match course would be the President's Pistol Match. It's called that because the President's Pistol Match is shot using the President's Pistol Match course. And the only difference between a national match course and a President's Pistol Match course is that instead of having 1 slow fire stage, you have 2 slow fire stages. Now when it comes to equipment, pistols are going to be divvied up in terms of the type of pistol as well as the caliber. So focusing on the type of pistol, you're essentially going to have 2 main categories, one being match pistols, the other being excellence in competition or EIC pistols. Essentially, match pistols allow you to have a lot more leeway in terms of what you can do to them to accurize them and extract more accuracy out of them. Most notably, they can have optical sights, lighter triggers, and orthopedic grips, whereas excellence in competition or EIC pistols or service revolvers typically cannot have orthopedic grips. They must have metallic sights, and typically the trigger weights are heavier than match pistols. Now you can actually go into all the details yourself in the CMP rulebook. I think it's section 4. I'm not going to cover that here. Now caliber is a lot more simple. There's essentially 3 main categories. You have 22s, you have 45s, and you have center fire. Center fire, depending on if it's a match pistol or an EIC, excellence in competition pistol, it can be anywhere from 32 caliber to 45 caliber. So you can actually shoot your 45 in the center fire match and the 45 match. Now I could go and make an entire video talking just about the different types of pistols you can have, the different things you can do to them, the different features they can have, depending on where they fall in those different categories. But in my opinion, the only thing you need to start shooting Bullseye pistol today, at least practicing, is a pistol and some targets. Now I'm going to link all these targets in the description below. It's going to be both the full-size targets, the repair centers, and the reduced size targets. So pick the one that fits your range. In my opinion, if you're a total beginner, I recommend buying the full-size targets and also buying the centers, because you're going to be outside the center when you first start shooting Bullseye pistol, because it's kind of difficult. So once you've got your pistol, once you've got your targets, you've started practicing, now you want to go to a match. In my opinion, the best way to find a match is to go to ct.thecmp.org. You can also Google CMP competition tracker and then go to upcoming matches, and you can find a match near you or maybe not near you. Now before you do go to one of these matches, I think you probably should look through the rule book and see if your pistol meets the category requirements for whatever match you want to shoot. Well, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Bullseye pistol is designed to be pretty simple. It actually started as a military sport. It's a service pistol competition between different branches of the military, and the main event of Bullseye pistol shooting here in America are still 2 service pistol matches, namely the President's Pistol Match and the National Pistol Match, both the individual and team match. All right, well now I'm actually gonna roll the footage of me shooting a national match course with this gun right here. Essentially, I'm practicing for a 22 Excellence in Competition match, and I'm gonna walk you through kind of my thought process as it goes along and sort of tell you a little bit of the peculiarities of how these matches typically go. You'll see how the different commands are given and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoy. So when you first get to the line, you're going to have some prep time. This will allow you to set up your shooting area the way that you want. You can set up your scope. Now, obviously, I'm not setting up scope here to spot my shots at 50 yards. I'm using my camera, so you guys will actually be able to see the shots as they come in. And I'm also taking this time to pack my magazines because I'm not going to have a lot of time to pack magazines for the timed and rapid fire stages later on. Ideally, before a match, you should have these magazines already packed. I think you should have at least 2 magazines. That way you can have one loaded up with 5 rounds ready to go, and then after you're done shooting the slow fire stage, you can load that now empty magazine up with 5 rounds before you move down to 25 yards, or rather move the target up to 25 yards. Now, in an actual match, you're going to be given a command of when you can unbox your pistol, when you can remove the empty chamber indicator, when you can actually start handling them, when you can start dry firing. So just make sure to pay attention for those commands and don't get ahead of yourself. Now, of course, once you're allowed to start dry firing and handling your pistol, I really recommend you take this time to get a couple dry fire shots in. You can even let that extend into the actual shooting time of 10 minutes. It's very rare that you'll actually use up all 10 minutes unless you're shooting really, really slow, which in my opinion is more detrimental to good accuracy anyways.
This is the slow fire portion of the relay. 10 shots in 10 minutes.
So here you'll see me take a few shots, dry firing, and I'll notice immediately that there's some kind of fuzz or something on my front sight and rear sight that is distracting me, so I go and clean that off. I'm also noticing that the front sight post, some of the bluing is kind of wearing off, so I need to go ahead and re-blacken that front sight, and the sunlight is actually affecting my sight picture. It's glinting off those exposed portions of metal on the front sight. All of these little things, even the way the light hits the front sight and rear sight, will affect your shooting, especially at 50 yards. And of course you guys are hearing the commands in the background. Once you get the command to fire, then you can go ahead and shoot at your leisure. You have a block of 10 minutes. You can also see me fiddling with this phone app, this Bullseye match app. Unfortunately, it can't run in the background, so I'm also using my phone to run my camera. And unfortunately, I can't do both at the same time, so I said screw the Bullseye timer. I'm not going to use up my whole 10 minutes anyways, and just rolled without it. So here you see me take some of my first shots, and I like to scope after every shot and confirm where I hit. Now, most of these shots felt like good hits, and typically when I feel like it's a good hit, it doesn't take me long to find that shot. I pull the trigger, gun goes off, that was a good shot, I check the shot, and it's somewhere around where I expect it. In my head, I'm essentially calling the shot where I think it's going to land based off of where my sights were relative to the target. Let me tell you, these cars are super annoying when I'm trying to record something here. Here you see me get distracted by some of the recording equipment, and this is the prime reason I try not to record myself when I'm actually shooting matches, because it's just really annoying having to deal with technology. At 50 yards, it's so much more important that you have good sight alignment and not worry too much about sight picture. The difference, if there's any sort of variation in your sights, is huge on target at 50 yards. Whereas the difference between like a 6 o'clock hold and a sub 6 o'clock hold is the difference of like 1.5, 2 inches at the most. By the way, I didn't come up with that. I learned that from a gentleman on the U.S. Army Reserve pistol team who is also a subscriber to this channel. Took me a while to finally get what he meant though, but as soon as I did, I went from not being able to hold the repair center at 50 yards to being able to hold the black, and now I'm able to hold the 9 and 10 ring with 22. It's really important that during the slow fire stage, you have to realize or figure out when not to take a shot. It's really, really easy to get excited and your sights are on target, but you've had the gun up for already too long and you start running out of air, you start losing focus. It's just not good. If you ever have any shots that seem questionable, just put the gun down, take a deep breath, close your eyes, focus on something else, and then get back on target. So that was the last shot, and normally I don't take the entire 10 minutes to fire my 10 rounds, and I'm usually not the last person to finish firing. So like I said, I'm taking this time to fill up that empty magazine with 5 rounds in preparation for the time fire stage, which is coming up next. Now normally in a match, you wouldn't pack up at the firing line and move physically, but the way my range is set up, I have to move closer to the backstop. Normally at a match, the targets will move closer to you, or you will physically move them closer to the firing line from 50 to 25 yards. But here I am just packing everything up. getting ready to go down to the 25-yard line. So after the end of the string, the range officer will call a ceasefire. You'll put your empty chamber indicator back in, lock your slide open, whatever, and then you'll go back down to the targets and you will score the targets. Typically it's pass right, score left, but depending on the range and match you're at, it might be different. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all 10 shots. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the 9 ring, 100 minus 6, 94, 1x. This is largely performative for you guys, but that's sort of the process I go through when I score a target. I make sure all 10 shots are on paper, and then I sort of count backwards from the shots that are outside the 10 ring. So in this case, I had 6 in the 9 ring and 4 in the 10 ring. Subtract 6 from 194. And here you see me reach for my knife that I forgot. I always like to save all my targets and annotate them and date them so that way I can track my progress over time. Of course, the other thing you're going to do while you're down at the targets is after you and whoever you're scoring agree on the score, you're going to go ahead and paste a new target, an entire face, or just a repair center, depending on how well you shot. Now, the B8 and the B6 actually have the exact same scoring rings, so the B6 just has a bigger bullseye. So if all your shots landed on the repair center area of the B6 at the 50-yard line, well, you only have to do a center rather than doing an entire face when you put your B8 on. Now I'm at the 25-yard line and I'm trying to practice as realistically as possible. When you get to the timed and rapid fire stages, it is very, very fast. There is very little time in between the strings, and I try to replicate that by hitting my Bullseye Match app as soon as I can so that the commands for the next string of fire commence immediately. And that's why I've been stressing the importance of packing mags, because I have had instances where I forgot to pack my mags, and in all this time I could be using to dry fire and line up my shot and make sure that my hold is good, especially in 22 EIC where you have to lift the gun up from a 45-degree angle before shooting. It's really important that you use this time to establish your natural point of aim. It's cost me quite a few points in a match one time when I didn't do that. Now with 22 EIC, you have to start with your gun down at a 45-degree angle. It's the only one that's like that. All the rest of them you can start with your sights on the target. Before the command "already on the firing line" is given, you can have the gun up and dry fire and line up your shot, but as soon as "already on the firing line" is given, you have to have the gun down at a 45. With my line of thinking currently and how much time is given on the time fire stage, I think that there's no excuse why I should never not clean the 25-yard line. That's my goal right now, is I want to be able to shoot 100 out of 100 every single time at the time fire stage. Because 20 seconds is such a huge amount of time, and 25 yards, you know, most people think that's like an extended distance for a pistol, but I'm always relieved when I get to step down to 25 yards because it's so much closer and the scoring rings are the exact same size as at 50 yards. You'll notice that when I establish my point of aim, I always come up over the target, get my sight alignment, and then I come down under the target, and I'm shooting with a sub 6 o'clock hold. And of course, a sub 6 o'clock hold means that my front sight post is actually below the bullseye, and it's zeroed to hit in the center of the bullseye. Now notice that during the time fire stage, I did not check my shots after the first 5 rounds. Typically, you're not going to have enough time after the time fire string to scope your shots before the targets turn back around. So I just wanted to get onto the next string of fire without checking to simulate match conditions as realistically as I can. So then after you're done with your time fire string, you're going to go down and score and replace targets again, just like last time. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on paper. We have 1 in the 9 ring. It does not break the scoring ring, so that counts as a 9. This would be a 99. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7x. When I talk about breaking the scoring ring, the diameter of the bullet has to physically break the scoring ring to score the higher value. So if you have a shot that's just on the edge of the line, you can get what's called an overlay and check to see if the diameter of the bullet actually broke the scoring ring, and then you'll get the higher value if it did. God damn it. Okay, next up is the rapid fire stage, and it's just like the time fire stage. It's very fast. There's not a lot of time to prepare, not a lot of time to dry fire, pack mags, or anything like that. So, for me, this is always my worst stage.
Is the firing line ready? The firing line is ready. Ready on the right. Ready on the left. Ready on the firing line. Pistols down.
10 seconds seems like a lot of time, but with 22 EIC, especially because I have to lift the gun up, my time from the shooting command to my first shot is probably like 3 or 4 seconds. That leaves me with 6 seconds to make the rest of my 4 shots, which is not a lot of time at all.
Is the firing line ready? The firing line is ready. Ready on the right. Ready on the left. Ready on the firing line. Pistols down.
And that's it for the rapid fire stage, and that's it for the national match course. So that's kind of how I like to practice. At least I try to get one national match course in every time I go to the range, whether it's with the 22, service pistol, revolver, any sort of gun. I always try to get one national match course in. And really, I think no matter what sport you shoot, I think it's a great way to warm up. It takes no less than 20 minutes. Even with all the filming and stuff I had to put up with, it took me no less than 25 minutes to do an entire national match course. And it's a great way to track your progress as a numerical value over time. And you can also compare it to all these other shooters out there that are shooting the same national match course as you. You can go on the competition tracker and see their scores. So, of course, at a real match, you're going to tally up your scores, and it's all going to be kept on a scorecard. You're going to add up the 3 line scores from the slow fire, time fire, and rapid fire lines, and then you're going to have your final score. And so here's the final results of this practice session. This is a 290 and 11x. This is actually my new personal best, so maybe I should film myself shooting more often. And of course, the most important part is to take a glamour shot and send it to all your Bullseye friends that don't exist. Anyways, you guys, that's it for Bullseye pistol shooting. It's pretty simple. I recommend everyone go out and buy yourself some B6s, B8s, B16s, whatever you need. Take your pistol out and give it a try. It's really difficult. You will be humbled the first few times you try and shoot at these targets one-handed with, whatever gun you got. If you like this type of video, please let me know. I'd like to do more. I'd like Bullseye to be more popular. But in any case, thank you all for watching.